Okay, we're having a look at the A-Team by Ed Sheeran again, and picking up at measure 8. And we'll go through one measure at a time, try to get up to, say, measure 16 or so. Is that the beginning of the 4th line? Boy, those measure numbers are so tiny. In fact, I'm going to make my screen bigger so I know what I'm talking about here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so where's measure 8 now? Okay, so here's measure 8. It's a G chord shape, and the rhythm goes like this. And I go one note into measure 9 because there is a descending slur called a pull off there, which you're doing a really nice job with. Here's measure 8 again. Da 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 da. That's the rhythm there, plus the one note in measure 9. So once you get into measure 9 after this pull off, then you have that rhythm again. So da, 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 da. Then you have that thing, which we've had earlier in the song. So let me do measure 8 and get into measure 9. Maybe that'll be helpful for you. Sorry. And there's 8 and 9. Then when you get into measure 10, you've done this before, that's why I'm kind of going fast through it. Measure 10 is this thing. Now remember, when you do those little chords, make sure whatever fingering you pick, whether it's this one like you were doing, do it the same every single time, so your left hand and your brain, which is really the problem, it doesn't get confused. Right, that we don't want the brain to confuse the fingers and say, oh well, you could use this finger or that finger. It needs to be the same every time once you decide what it is, and so you don't have any confusion there. Okay, here's measure 11. It's like an E minor shape. Now you have to decide. Like I know I'm going to use my second finger on string 4 fret 2 in measure 11, where it goes. So you have to decide, are you going to use your first finger there? I would use my second only because at the end of measure 11, you're going to have a C chord shape. And this finger are free for that. So here's measure 11 again. Then measure 12. This is the hardest one in the whole song, I think. Measure 12, be warned. It goes 1 and Now, it's a G chord thing, but the rhythm is so tricky here because every group of 16th notes has a different rhythm. So it's 1 and da 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 da. And that gets you into one of the coolest parts of the song, the pre-chorus. So here's one more time because it's so hard. Measure 12. And I went 2 notes into measure 12 because they're very connected at the end there. There's a really fast 16th note that leads right into the pre-chorus. So the pre-chorus, I'll talk about this thing in a second. Dee dum dee da da da, cool rhythm, right? They left out a hammer-on mark there, right? There should be a curved line connecting the notes on string 4 too, because you're doing a double hammer-on. So you do the 3 open strings, and then a double hammer-on on string 4 and string 2. Isn't that cool? And notice I just leave those 2 fingers down for that whole bar. Because you want to hear that ringing of those notes. It sounds so delicious, right? Measure 14, let's see, is this. That's really a C chord with a G on top. This is a G, this string 1 fret 4. And notice I'm using my pinky to play that. Otherwise, that's going to be hard to reach. Right? That you could play it like this. But it feels icky. Here's measure 14 again. Measure 15 is like a G chord kind of. Notice I use my pinky a lot for G chord here because it's just easier to get to C. That was measure 15 again. And then a new chord. It feels new, but it's a very fancy D chord. There's a different voicing, we call it, or a different inversion of the chord. The way I play it, measure 16, is like this with my first finger on string 6 fret 2, 3 fret 2 with my middle finger, and my pinky on string 2 fret 3. You might find a different version. This is the measure 15. Let me see if it... Now that's my easiest way to do it. And notice I'm keeping my fingers down for these whole measures. So once you get to the pre-chorus, measure 13, say, you get to keep those 2 fingers down for the whole thing, except for, right before the hammer on it. Keep those fingers down. And measure 15, keep those fingers down. Oops. Keep those fingers down. So what I'm trying to say here is once you get to the pre-chorus, it looks like you're able to keep whatever fingers you start the measure with, you keep those fingers down for the whole measure. In the beginning, it wasn't like that. Sometimes you'd have to switch in the middle of the measure and change your left hand configuration, such as this measure where it goes, let's see. Now I can't play something I already did. Come on now. Right there, right? In the same measure, you have like an E minor kind of shape, and then at the end you have a C kind of shape. So this is kind of neat. You get into the pre-chorus and that changes a little bit. So that takes you right through measure 16. This is 16 with this chord, the inverted D chord. That note ba, ba, is really that note down 2 octaves. Okay, so anyways, have fun with this and hit me with any questions anytime. Thanks for watching this video.